What's up, Sniper? Cat. Except it says Cat and Jack. I was going to say, there you go. What are your thoughts on subscribers only? The chat. We'll get Eric more subs quicker that way. Do you think us just stresses these from coming together? My experience, Sniper, is I actually get more subscribers without subscribers only. Because people come in and they hang out, they chat, they interact, and then they either decide to stay or not. From the figures that I look at, like one morning, we had a ton of, let's call them trolls for lack of any better definition. Hey, Ellie. And I ended up getting 10 subscribers, a half an hour live stream. Hey, Percolated Fish. Ellie says, who's coming up? That would be the birthday boy. You may be asking, who's the birthday boy? I'm glad you asked. You'll find out when the birthday boy comes on up. Hey, Lee. Hey, Sniper. What do you know about Christ oil? Christus oil. Hey, y'all dog. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if it's a better tool for some guests than others. I mean, would it be helpful when I talk to David, which is going to be could be a very important discussion for so many people. And love the distinctions that he makes. I was reading this morning his on manifesting. To attempt to think. He's not saying manifesting is impossible, but what he is saying that to manifest is to have a lack of trust. It's saying I want to make instead of create. When we create, we are extending love. When we seek to manifest, we are making, we are projecting. How'd you know it was Percolated Fist's birthday, Ellie? Hey, happy birthday.
I'm so impressed you remember my birthday, Yogi.
I got to be honest with you. It popped up.
The advances of technology.
Yes. But I'm glad it did, because then I get to say happy birthday, and maybe even by the end of the live stream, sing happy birthday to you and everyone in the chat. Of which, by the way, I want you to know on your birthday what a valuable member of us. I don't like calling it a community. I don't like calling it a gathering. I just like thinking us. We're an us.
Good.
And you are a valuable, valuable part of that. Thank you for being so.
Thank you.
Ellie says, happy birthday to you.
Thank you. At 58, they don't matter so much anymore.
Anna says, hi, Adam. Wishing you a very happy birthday. Carl says, I don't feel valued. You are definitely valued, Carl. Hey, Skits. Skits, we're celebrating Adam. All things Adam. William says, you did not ask my opinion, Squirrel, but I feel subscribers only is a gate to keep those genuinely interested able to participate and the ones aiming to pass through a quicker and quicker passage.
I know all the good moderators work very hard at deleting things, and I'm not good at that stuff, and I appreciate it.
Got a feather in your cap. What kind of feather do we have?
Crow and something else. I made sure not to wear my eagle feather. I don't want to get a huge $25,000 fine.
Hey, why is it a fine to have an eagle feather? You didn't pluck it? You didn't harm the eagle?
I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, I'm pretty sure if you Google it, it'll show up. It is fine.
Weird. Hey, Nightmare. Selma, how are you? Sniper, you still with us? I wonder what Sniper knows. on the subject that you'd like to talk about.
Um, no, Christos.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I would
Well,
like to start out by saying that A Course in Miracles never talks about Christ oil.
nope.
It's not necessary. Um, it's not necessary to do all sorts of things. Not necessary to show up on Sunday. It's, you know, um,
I think A Course in Miracles would call it magic, and the course doesn't dismiss magic, but ultimately it's part of the illusion.
I think so.
It could be helpful, could be very helpful, but in the end, it's just one more thing that we let go of.
There's aspects about the Christ oil that it shows reverence, it shows dedication, discipline, things of this nature.
Could you start off telling everyone, what it is?
Okay. Christos, the Greek, the Christ, means the anointed one. And what do people usually anoint with? And that's oil. I'm trying to find my, I have a guide. Not that great, but anyway. Okay. We have a skull, 33 vertebrae, and you can't really see the sacrum. You see the pelvis, but anyway. And then there's daisies, little daisies, pushing up daisies. Over here's the moon.
Is that your artwork?
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Oh, thanks.
That's awesome.
It's not that serious.
You know what, though? If you had come up and just showed me that, it would be worth going live just to have you do that.
Oh, thanks, Yogi. It's my sketchbook. But anyway, Jesus was 33 years old, and when he was crucified in Golgotha, Calvary, the place of the skull. Golgotha means place of the skull. So I have some notes here. The oil of gladness goes down to the sacrum, 5 fused vertebrae, and sits there for a little bit, and then it raises on the day that your moon is in your chart. I'm a Virgo. Weirdly enough, today the moon is in my chart. And it's a new moon, and there's also a solar eclipse happening pretty soon, I think. So pretty interesting times. Also, we have 2 comets entering our 2 astrological, very strange astrological time. But so when the moon's in your chart, supposedly, the oil of gladness, the seed of Christ, rises to the hypothalamus and sits dormant for 3 days. And then your pituitary and your pineal excrete oil and honey, milk and honey, and the land of milk and honey. And then there's this awakening experience.
You think that's connected in any way to Kundalini?
Yes. Was it Tom who was talking about Kundalini yoga? Was it Tom?
Tom, yep.
Yeah. And really, I mean, I can't see how to practice this. And really, I don't know if it matters if the moon is in your chart or not. It brings me to I hate to say I believe. I am convinced that Jesus was an Essene. And the Essene sect of Jews were not animal sacrificing, pretty robe wearing people. They lived in the Qumran Valley. They practiced body cleansing. Um, they 30 days of fasting is just par for the course for an Essene. They were most likely vegetarians or fishitarian. What's a fishitarian called? Anyway,
Pescatarian.
right. So anyway, and one thing in the Bible that really points to that is the first miracle of Jesus was teaching the money changers out of the temple. Now, all you Bible scholars out there will say water to wine was his first miracle. Well, his mother asked him, and he said, "It is not my time." So, I mean, yeah, I guess water to wine is the first miracle. But Jesus shows up on the scene by chasing the money changers out of the temple. And Josephus, and I can't remember the other historian, both commented that there was a river of blood issuing from the temple at the time of Christ. So many animal sacrifices, so much guilt and shame, and what a racket. If you're guilty, then hey, I can kill this animal and you can walk scot free. Hey, that's great. Let's kill a bunch of animals. I never read Jesus asking anyone to worship him. I never read Jesus sacrificing an animal. I never heard him even mention the word sacrifice. So, I mean, just food for thought. Just food for thought. But yeah, the oil of Christ. I mean, if you want this thing to work, first of all, you need to meditate. Secondly, you need to have a good diet. A low vibrational diet, this oil is not going to rise.
Right. What would you consider would be a low vibrational diet versus a higher vibrational diet?
Well, fruitarian's at the top of the high vibration. I mean, plants give up fruit. You're not even harming a plant. You're just eating of the fruits. And then, but I don't think spinach really hates it when you eat spinach. Well, for that matter, I don't think a deer really hates it if you eat a deer. I mean, but
It's how you do
you
how
should
you
treat
do it.
everything. Right.
I have tons of friends in the fishing and hunting community on YouTube, and I'm often asked by vegan friends, how can you support them? And it's because it's done without cruelty. And yet, if you go to a supermarket and you participate in a factory raised farming, it's steeped with cruelty. It's nothing but cruelty, and you have to selectively remember not to remember, and not to think about it, and not to talk about it, in order to eat it and not feel guilty. However, if you go out in the woods and you harvest a deer, it's a participatory action. First, you got to get the deer, and you have to be patient enough, and you have to. I like to think that it has to be an auspicious occasion where everything lines up. The deer is there, willingly giving up, and we have to be grateful. Of course, I used to hunt. I don't anymore, but I think people who hunt that way, it is truly part of what can be considered a life cycle versus going to a supermarket and picking up something wrapped in cellophane that has been tortured for your benefit. Just my thoughts.
Well, it's easy to mentally get around that. It is, I think, for most people. However, physically, it's very difficult because if I go to the supermarket and buy some hamburger meat, it's full of adrenochrome and chemicals to hide the taste of the adrenochrome. Cows are smart. They know they're being slaughtered. They're stressed out.
Yep.
Any hunter knows that you have to have a clean kill. If that animal is freaking out, It's full of it taints the meat. It poison, adrenochrome, whatever. I mean, I think that's the right word.
I agree. Hey, I'm going to interrupt. We have a quick question from William. He wants to know what kind of masonry you do.
Stone. I I do not lay block or brick unless it's something. I'd build a fireplace and do my own brick, but it's that's not my thing. Thank you, William. Did this behind me. I'm out here because I get a better signal. Hopefully, I'm not fading in and out too badly.
But no, actually, you sound pretty good. Every once in a while, it gets a little quiet, but we can still hear you. Everyone can hear Adam okay, right? Our friend Miss Blipper is here.
Oh, Miss Blipper.
Hey, I'm going to say something to Miss Blipper real quick. You might find this interesting. Tomorrow is usually Miss Blipper Day. 1 o'clock, it's Miss Blipper and I talk all things Course Miracles. She won't be able to make it tomorrow because she has a friend coming in to town, going to hang out. Which when it was an open slot, I had sent a message to David Hoffmeister, who's considered one of the premier long-term course teachers, like a master teacher. And he sent me back a reply and said, I'd be happy to come up on your live stream. How does Monday at 1 o'clock sound?
Wow.
Pretty amazing. Yep. So he'll be up tomorrow.
That's amazing, Yogi. That really is. Not only is he a brilliant course teacher, he's also a scholar.
So
he's a scholar?
David Hoffmeister?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he went to school for quite a while. I think, doesn't he have like a psychology degree or something?
I think he has a psychology degree. Let's ask him tomorrow.
Nice. That would probably be the most boring question he would get.
You know what? I'm always happy when we get questions. I'm always happy when the chat's engaged. I don't think there's any such thing as a bad question from anyone.
Well, nobody asked about my crazy necklace.
I thought it was part of your beard. It flowed so nice. What do we got?
I was blessed by a Cherokee medicine man years ago. The reason I wore my feathers in this is yesterday I got a phone call from a relative who told me to quit making videos, that I am embarrassing myself and all this other stuff. And really it's the last time I was reactive, and I got a little angry and a little snarky. The conversation finally turned around to a peaceful place, but I have an allergic reaction to shame, guilt, and fear. And I reacted, and it's been I can't remember a time before that, maybe a year or whatever. Most stuff just rolls off at me. But which leads me to why I've always been willing to sing, to come up and talk with you. And really, if I could encourage anyone to express themselves, to be proud of it, not proud of who you are, but definitely don't be ashamed of who you are. It's insane.
Right. Super Jam says, "Is your necklace a snake?"
No, it's a deer skull with an antler and some eyeballs. I can't really. My beard's in the way.
There we go. I'm all about antlers. I often talk. We're all hanging out over on Cat's property. Big bonfire, paint ourselves blue, and put antlers on our head and dance around.
Nice.
You're already prepared. You already got your antlers.
I do. I have feathers enough for everyone.
Okay. Bring the feathers. We got to find the right kind of blue paint. It's got to be natural. I don't want anybody,
suffocating.
Long-lasting blue paint show up at work on Monday and they're like, "What? What happened to you?
Yeah.
You know, I was at someone's bonfire and I painted myself blue and taped antlers to my head. We danced around a lot. You know, typical weekend. Typical weekend at Cats.
Nice. Well, I've seen a lot of hardcore Christian people. I shouldn't pick on Chris. I'm just very small, religiously compact people showing up and commenting that we're a bunch of heathenists or something and whatnot. So, by all means, let's paint ourselves blue. But so I guess there's no questions about the Christ oil, which is
But let's keep working on that subject a bit. What are the what aside from ritual? What would be a practical application for today, these days, right now? Is it purely symbolic? Do we get any type of spiritual health, um, emotional benefit? And how would we? What would we do? How would we use it?
actually, I find the preparation for the Christ oil more important than the oil itself in a way, because fasting is good for your health and your mind. It's a
Right.
discipline. Meditation is always good for a person's well-being, and to be clear of thought, to be clear in spirit, and sexual abstinence is a powerful force in and of itself as well.
Right. It's one of the it's one of the five yamas, which is the ethical foundation or the um, restraints that's used in the beginning of yoga. Actually, through the yoga practice, just about being mindful
Yeah.
of your sexual energy. How you are you flirting it away, flittering it away? Are you cultivating it? Is it an addiction? So just being mindful of how we spend our energy.
Right. I mean, if somebody wants to, it I hate the term awaken because, I haven't seen anybody turn into a ball of light and disappear. When I do, I will say, wow, that individual must have been awakened.
All right, hold on. Are you ready? Give me
Yes.
give me 1 minute. All right. Sometimes it takes. I really got to concentrate. I'm not sure if I can do it on camera, but end of the live stream, I'll try again. All right. I promise.
Okay.
I promise you, I
Okay.
can do it. Is this something that you practice on that you yourself practice on a fairly regular basis?
No.
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 Is it something that you would?
I'm somewhat disciplined.
Is it something that you'd like to sort of incorporate in your lifestyle?
Well, I'm weak on the fasting, so on the meditation, pretty hardcore on the sexual abstinence. And if this oil rises, hey, great,
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to talk a minute about abstinence benefits, detriments?
Sure.
Your personal experience and why? What led you towards absence?
Divorce.
That'll do it. Although, even after divorce, you do have options should you choose to pursue those options.
Actually, after the divorce, I was tempted to find a girlfriend, and my youngest son was maybe 9 at the time, and I mean, I didn't toy with the idea that much, but I noticed that it was very uncomfortable for him, and I just chose not to go down that path. And then about 2 years later, the desire just left to, seek amorous relations, and of course, I still, had to this day, I sometimes still have, maybe lustful or whatever. I mean, I wouldn't say lustful so much as an attraction. I was at a political thing and met this young, beautiful woman who I felt it in my body. It never happened in my mind. It's like my body wanted it,
Right.
and I was like, it hit me out of nowhere. It was bizarre. It really was. And but I've seen her since and told my body to chill out. And but I will say that if you YouTube or whatever retention, uh, people notice it in your being. Um, Women smile at me all the time. I mean, our girl, like from age 2 to 90, women are very comfortable around me typically. Um, I scared a man at Walmart. I didn't mean to. I was walking out with my brother, and he had a stereo he was trying to return. And the guy stopped us, and I said, "It's just a return." And I mean, I swear, the guy jumped back. It's like I didn't mean to. It's just a return, man.
Right.
But um, in my experience, people notice the energy. But
I
then
agree.
again, I could attribute it to that. Or um, yesterday, I went out shopping, and I talked to 3 or 4 people. Um, I talked to the cashier. I talked to someone in line who was from Ohio. Um, if I had a superpower, it would probably be starting conversations with strangers. Um, and
I'm going to add one. You're a very kind person, and
oh,
I believe
thank you.
I believe kindness is a superpower,
I think so. I
and
think so.
you display it. You display it so unconsciously that makes it even more an attractive quality. You know what I mean? You don't go. I don't see you trying to be kind. I see you being kind, and that's a huge, uh, in my book,
Uh,
superpower. William wants to know if you're still hiring, if you're still looking for helpers.
no, but William, if you moved up here, I'm sure I could find you late, work. Um, I don't know. My heart's just not in it anymore, brother. But I'm sure I can find, some kind of job for you up here. Or I could probably put you to work here for a while. There's a miserable job down there, which involves tonnage of concrete and rebar and whatever.
Is that
But
something you're interested in, William? And second comment, Miss Flipper said both, capital BOTH, of you guys get big crushes, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
I'm confused. BOT?
BOTH, both of you guys, me and you.
Oh, Yogi, you amaze me. You show up every day on the World Wide Web spreading love. I don't think I could do it, man.
Um, I actually surprised myself because it was not something I had ever considered. Years ago, I thought about reading my poetry on a YouTube channel, and there's actually some videos of me doing it out there. Someone's channel. I don't know. I don't know whose. My stepdaughter at the time, still my stepchild, um, said she begged me, please don't do it. People will they'll just come at you for no other reason. Uh, and she's like, I don't want to see it happen to you. And I started doing burpee videos, but not going live stream. And it was a friend, Paul from Oregon, still a friend, said, uh, just do, actually, I wasn't even doing burpee videos. It was Paul who said, why don't you do a video to show us what you're doing? Because you're supporting all of us. We'd like to support you. And I did that for several months. And I decided, I think it was sometime in June, 2 years ago, let me just see what happens if I sit down and talk. And the next thing I know, 2 years later, every single day without missing a day, here I am, 2,000 some live streams.
That's awesome. I mean,
saying
it's
the same.
what blows my mind is the consistency, and the amount. The amount. I love people. Physical interactions wear me out sometimes. They really do. A lot of people show up with I mentioned control dramas to Buckaboo. It's a lot of people are in control dramas and illusion and whatever. And it's my job to love them through this. But I find it exhausting sometimes.
It can be for sure. 95% of the time, I'm absolutely cool on YouTube and everyone coming in, including whatever anyone brings me. Trolls. I can almost 95% of the time, I can actually participate with them. I can laugh. I can do the back and forth without breaking a sweat, without breaking stride, because it honestly doesn't affect me. But there is that small percent of the time when I feel a little worn down and I walk away from a live stream a little exhausted, a little emotionally drained. Uh, Oddly enough, having some uh, very important conversations with guests, uh, including you. Um, I, and I want to really do stress how much I value you coming up and having these conversations with me. Um,
Thank
when
you,
you
Yogi.
first, when you and I first had a conversation like this, uh, and I said, "Hey, do you want to make it a regular thing?" Because I like your company, and I think you have important and um, valuable information to share. But I get a little more tired with the one-on-one engagement than I do just showing up and talking randomly about stuff because now I'm concentrating. You, you know what I mean? Not that I'm not giving my attention to everyone, but now I'm one pointed. Um,
Yeah.
I have a guest, and I want that guest to know that he's valuable and his time is valuable, and I don't take it for granted. So it takes a little
Well,
more.
you do a
Little
great
more energy.
job.
What's that?
You do a great job.
Thank you.
You really do. I know I called you Johnny Carson before, but as far as late night, Carson was. I mean, the creme de la creme. Really, for all you Letterman fans or whoever, yeah, I mean they're okay, but Carson was like royalty.
Yeah.
Never saw him lose his cool.
And so many comedians that we love and admire got their big break. You knew you had it made when he invited you to sit down.
Yes, you did.
A lot of comedians tell the story when they got that call. Um, some it was like immediately, and their career just blew up. Others they showed up for a while, and he finally called him over, and they're like, now I finally did it."
True.
Hey,
True.
Praveen. So abstinence.
Oh, maybe I should mention White Tantra. Are you familiar with White Tantra?
I am.
That's engaging but not releasing. This is a
I
practice used in many spiritual communities. I mean, there's
I've
all
encountered
sorts of.
I've
Go ahead.
encountered some problems with that. Um,
Okay.
it's very helpful to have an experienced teacher, how to channel that energy, not to let that energy consume you, because you can be so like aroused um, all the time uh, if it's not properly channeled up the spine. Now, with that would be the Christos, and yoga would be the Kundalini. That you have to know how to use it as a sustainable source of energy uh, to rise up in the higher chakras, the higher energy system, so that you were talking earlier about vibrations when we were talking diet.
Right.
needing to take that lower base energy and have practical means of rising it up. I was largely with White Tantra, uh, largely self-taught through books, uh, with some teachers, but never like long term. That I actually felt like I blew a circuit, um, and I just needed I needed a long extended break from the practice.
It's a powerful force,
It is.
the sacred secretion or whatever. I would say that if you're going to practice White Tantra, that you'd need to have all your other ducks in a row. You need to be pure of thought. You need to be, um, I'm going to switch up names here to make it more. Can you bring Allah to everything? Can you bring Krishna to everything? Everything you do, and if that's a practice, that's a difficult practice to all to bring the divine into that. It's and I'm just speaking from. I've read a lot of stuff that I don't practice, that I'm not an expert on. I feel a little raw here. I mean, David Hoffmeister is coming up tomorrow. I'm just a dude hanging out at a lake, you know. But yeah, it's now on retention. I would like to say, years ago, I went to a traditional church, and the preacher was telling kids not to you know.
Yeah.
And I thought, what horrible advice is that? I mean, that is horrible advice. If you got to fight something, I mean, some things are worth fighting and some things aren't.
Right.
And it brings to mind the Talking Heads song, "Creatures of Love." I mean, we're creatures of love. If you go into an angst about attraction, by all means, don't fight it. God loves everybody, and God loves you no matter if you're centered like nobody else or out goofing around. So don't twist yourself in a knot because you want to goof around.
Right. Hey, Super Champ had a question for you. Says, Yogi may ask question to the gentleman beside you. Aren't you afraid? And he's asked you this before, I believe. Aren't you afraid of getting lung cancer from smoking, sir?
No.
Can you tell him why?
The last time I thought I might die was okay. I'll tell a little story. I was helping an older person get to a doctor's appointment, which they were running for late. And I'm supposed to drive them. Well, I told them I'm not speeding. I do not speed. So they took the wheel. And then I found myself in a car traveling about 75 miles an hour around curvy roads and blind spots. And my heart started pumping because I knew I was in danger. My body knew, oh God, you could die. I mean, really, I looked over at the person. I took a breath, realized I was in a dangerous situation, and I accepted it. If this is the way I died, so be it. I looked at the person and I said, this is how people die. Okay. And, it was only for about maybe 5 minutes of curvy, incredibly dangerous roads. And, thoughts running through my head. I could ask to get out of the car. I could do this. I could do that. But I thought, if this is how I die, so be it. I'm not afraid of death. And, I mean, this is just a body, man. It is. I believe we get other bodies. If we don't, who cares? But thank you for that.
Can you just for a second, and Slampers talked about this before. The difference between what you're smoking and buying cigarettes.
This is called prison tobacco to some people. Used to in prison, they would give you cheap tobacco. And cheap tobacco has very little additives because they don't care. They're not trying to hook you with there's crazy chemicals in prepackaged cigarettes. Now, there is a humidor in Huntsville I can go to and be sure I'm getting just pure tobacco. I do know this makes me cough way less. So it doesn't this doesn't advertise no chemicals, but I can feel and I know there's very little chemicals in this. This is
Right.
just apple cured tobacco.
Hey, feeling and knowing. You ever, for some reason, it made me think of body testing, the kinesiology test. You ever the muscle testing,
I'm not sure.
where you can like ask yourself a question, or you can hold something in your hand and ask, like the tobacco, does this have additives? And someone pushes on your arm, and if it's clean, you're strong. And if it isn't, they push down, your arm goes right down.
No.
You ever heard
It
of-
wouldn't work for me probably. I broke my collarbone about 7 years ago. At one time, Yogi, I could throw a knuckleball with my left hand.
Well,
And I'm
how fast?
right-handed. About 65, whatever. I could throw my fastball with my left hand was in the 70s. My fastball with my right hand was low 90s, actually.
Well, did you play?
I'm a short guy. I'm sorry?
Did you play on a team, baseball?
I played Old Men's baseball. It was full of ex-AAA, ex-college players, and just other guys. They called me Mighty Mouse. I had a good batting average.
Hey, Kat says you can do a balance test also, Adam. Maybe Kat can, on her live stream tomorrow morning, can describe it.
A balance test.
Right. So you would ask yourself a question, and I guess you would be strong on balancing if it's true, and if it isn't, you'd be more off balance. Thank you for that, Kat.
Okay. Thanks.
Ellie wants
Yeah.
to know if you've tried quitting.
Oh, I have quit before. And I used to just smoke a pipe for years. I know I chain smoke when I don't smoke as much when I'm not engaged with people, honestly. So,
Sissy said, same with the hand test for alcohol. A doctor will attempt to flip your hand. If it holds in place, you're good. If it flops like a fish out of water, consider a lifestyle change. So it's all, I guess, the same principles of muscle testing, balance testing. Your body responds to what's true. Not that it pertains to smoking. It just became. I just sort of wondered. Anything we do, we can test to see, is this good for the body or not good for the body.
I don't really need to test tobacco, but that is a good thing to know. I know tobacco's bad for me. I know that if I quit smoking, that I would have more lung capacity and all that. However, I see average people walk around these hills out here and get out of breath in no time, and I'm like,
right?
People need to move more. The body was made to move.
Yep.
And I forget what it's called. The most fluid in the body. You got blood. Your heart pumps the blood, but
synovial fluid.
No. It's the number one fluid. It's what plasma floats in.
Maybe Heart Matters knows.
But anyway, to move this fluid, you have to move. That's what aerobics is about. a good 10-minute walk, you're moving fluid.
Yeah.
If you're sitting around all day,
even hunting, we were originally persistent hunters. We hunted in movement. We didn't,
mhm.
just stand still. We chased the deer because we're natural endurance athletes. We're the best endurance athletes on the planet, actually, because we sweat. We
The
don't have to
human
pant.
body is wow. If
So
only if our mind was as good as our body, what would we become?
right. Cat explains the balance testing. She said, kinda. You assign yes to moving forward, no to moving back. Close your eyes, ask a question. You will lean automatically towards the answer.
Yes is forward, back
Yep.
is
No.
Is smoking bad for me? Sorry.
It is, talking about the wonders of the human body, the fact that it holds, that it can reveal the truth that our brain, our thoughts, can hide from us. It's pretty amazing to consider. Leaving smoking completely out of the conversation. We could ask our bodies anything that might be of value that we might need to know, and receive some kind of an answer.
I will definitely try that. I will. I feel like I have a high level of intuition. But yeah, it's always nice to have guides.
Agreed. Hey, speaking of guides and your practice of the course, how are you? Lymphatic fluid is what Sissy said.
Lymphatic, yes. You have to
Maybe
move.
Sissy.
Thank you.
How are you with guidance? How are you with turning things over to what the course would call the Holy Spirit? But if that doesn't resonate, as you and I talked about before, you can call it the Tao, you can call it Krishna consciousness, Buddha consciousness, Christ. How do you feel you are at handing things over to that internal guide?
Well, if you asked me yesterday at 6 o'clock, I would have said horrible because
Right.
I reacted to something. However, I did want to talk about this. I had a miracle Thursday night,
I remember.
and it was so natural that I didn't even hear myself say these things like I often do. I could see this differently. I could see peace instead of this. I often ask the Holy Spirit to take over, especially with pain. It seems to help. But really, I hope the Holy Spirit's always within me, guiding me. But Thursday night, my son had a concert, jazz, and he's feeling a little down because he's not. Last year he was first chair orchestra symphony. Very big honor. And this year he's not sitting as high. And he just didn't practice that much this time. But so we show up, and I ride with my ex-wife. Had a great ride up there. She made dinner that we were supposed to go to his apartment. He lives with 3 random students. None of these guys know each other. They share an apartment in a common area. But so her mind is determined that we're going to eat at his place. Well, after the concert, she brings it up, and he turned white, ghastly, and she kept telling him to call them and ask. It's no big deal. And being a guy, I'm like, yeah, it is a big deal. He doesn't want to be that guy. His parents show up out of nowhere. So twice I brought up, hey, these are guys. This isn't. And then I brought up, is there not a common area that we could use an oven and it was about to go sideways, like in a worse way. And Bethany walks out. Oops, I was not going to use names. Bethany walks out and says, "Well, thanks a lot, blah, blah, you made sure he didn't even call, blah, 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 And I'm about to have an hour and 15-minute ride, with this thing, this animosity, call it what you will. And Lily, there's another Lily, his girlfriend, beautiful girl. You know, I'm talking with her and she says, "Well, in my dorm room, we could probably use my dorm room, but I don't have place." I'm trying to solve this situation. I'm trying to remain calm or whatever. I'm really trying to stay centered, you know, not feel attacked for my ex-wife. And Lily came through. He came through. We had a beautiful little meal in a dorm room. All was forgotten about the whatever, issues of and really that could have gone wrong in so many ways.
Right.
I could have helped it go wrong, but yeah. So to me that is if you knew my ex-wife, you would understand what a miracle that is. The cable company made Bethany angry one time, so we got a year free of cable.
Wow.
This woman took on 6 lawyers from a hospital and won all by herself.
Pretty amazing.
She's not
not one to be
she's not
trifled with. Right.
So,
As they used to say, she's not one to be trifled with.
no, not at all.
Hey, William says back to a low vibrational diet. What would you
Oh.
consider a low vibrational diet?
Milk is way low. It depends. If you get milk from, we have some lovely Hare Krishna people here. Treat their cows well. You get live milk. Woo! Serious live cultures. Pasteurization kills milk. Yes. It is a horrible thing to breastfeed a child out of microwave milk, by the way. Which happens. I've known people who collect it and then microwave it and give it to their kids, and it's like, well, defeats the purpose of breastfeeding.
Right.
Meat. Meat is low. It depends on the meat too, though. I mean, did you hunt this thing, this animal? Or are you buying Unicron or your local Kroger or Publix or whatever? I would say that crackers, bread is a lower, maybe middle way.
Right.
It's not alive. If I go out here and pluck a tomato from the vine, it's way more alive than a tomato I buy in a store. If I go pluck blackberries off of, the life is there.
Right, and that could sum it up. That could sum it up right there. The higher up, the more close it is to its natural state of being alive, the higher the vibration. The less it is, the further distant it is from being alive, life itself, the lower. So if you are eating a deer that has just been harvested, it's going to have a higher vibratory rate than if you go and buy pork chops in the supermarket that has been wrapped in cellophane and plastic for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, that has been tortured, secreting fear hormones, as well as being pumped full of antibiotics. It's so far, even when it's alive, it's so far away from its natural state that it's going to be very, very low. So it could be the same thing. It's still meat,
yeah,
but how it's treated. It could be an apple that has been pumped full of all kinds of herbicides and other stuff and wrapped in plastic, and it's going to have a lower, right. It's going to have a lower vibratory rate than an apple, like you said, that you just picked off a tree. Thank you, Praveen. Thank you so much, my friend.
Yeah.
Just got an awesome super chat.
Nice. Yeah. Another thing. Well, I'm not a. I'll go ahead and talk about my diet. I'm mostly a fishitarian. I forget the word, but really, I don't eat that much fish either. Mostly plant based. However, if somebody cooks me chicken or something, if I'm invited to someone's house, I'll eat the chicken. I figure, in my mind, I say, I'm sorry, little chicken, but I don't want to offend people. And, really, the course tells me the food is not really there.
Right.
This is not real.
It's the same
So-
practice as the Buddha, by the way. He told his followers, you don't refuse food. And they were his followers, like, we follow. They didn't use the term plant-based diet, but it was a plant-based diet. They didn't meet their strict practices in food, abstaining from violence. But when you have your alms bowl out and you show up at a door, and if they put ancient India, they put a Big Mac there, you eat it. And Buddha said you eat it. But you eat it the same
You
way
definitely
that you said.
use it and preach to them about what they should eat.
Yes. But they do it the same way that you said. Say thank you to the animal, thank you to the guest, or thank you to the host, and you eat it mindfully, thankfully. You can raise the vibration of whatever it is you're eating with gratefulness, with being grateful for where that food came from.
I believe you can. I know you can.
Hey, you have any gratefulness practice? Is that part of your daily? Just waking up, being grateful?
I need more gratefulness practices. I try to remind myself of all the blessings that I have. And I have a lot. I do. Ideally, I wish I was grateful in every moment for everything. I think it's very important to accept what's right here, right now, and be glad in it. I think that happiness is the highest. Happiness is the highest spiritual practice, or gratefulness.
Right. And here's the thing: we were talking about higher or lower vibrational diet. Consider your thoughts as part of your diet. What thoughts are you entertaining? Are you staying in a lower vibratory rate of thought? It doesn't matter what you eat. You can have the greatest diet in the world. If your every single thought is lentils again today, I've had lentils every day for the past 4 years. I literally have had lentils every day for the past 4 years.
You're so consistent.
To the point of annoyance, I think, for a lot of people.
I dig it, man.
But being grateful, the nourishment of lentils, the low impact that it has in the environment, the amount of fiber that it has, that it's so good for the heart, that it lowers the blood pressure, that very little has been harmed in the harvesting of lentils. Or I could eat a cheeseburger and I could say, I'm so grateful for the person who prepared this for me. I'm so grateful for the cows that produce the dairy. And I know they had to suffer, and I'm so sorry for their suffering. And even though it's not going to be the greatest for you, you've raised the vibration of the food because of your practice of gratitude. So you can have a higher, not the highest, but a higher vibratory diet by practicing gratefulness and mindfulness of eating, which is a neglected art form. We're generally wolfing down literally food without any thought and how it came upon our plate. everything would change if we pause and asked ourselves, where did this food come from? How we treat immigrants, how we treat animals, and how we treat starving people across the world would all change if we considered from plate to origin that which was before us.
I agree. I have told somebody before that it's better to eat a hot dog with happiness than to eat a vegan diet with resentment. I mean, you can eat the healthiest food in the world, and if you're sitting there thinking, I don't like this, you're telling your body not to accept it.
True. Agreed.
So,
Hi, Grandma.
But yeah. As far as another thing about diet goes is for several years now, I've tried to be somewhat mindful of what I eat. And as everybody has noticed what I smoke, well, I don't consume artificial sugar. I do not consume fat-free stuff. You know, forgive me, forget that. But I mean, I will refuse fat-free stuff, and I will refuse sugar-free stuff. I have to draw a line somewhere. And but my physical health, which isn't, I'm no Jace, wow, you go, brother Jace. But I'm in pretty dang good shape for smoking since I was in 4th grade.
Well,
so
but you're pretty active.
I'm sorry?
You're pretty active, right?
I am active. I move around and I eat well. And I smoke like a fish. So
like a percolated fish.
Like a percolated fish, yes.
Hey, our friend Lee had a question further up, and I forgot to bring it around. He wants to know if you're doing a birthday dinner.
Oh, no. No. And in fact, if I wasn't on this live, I like to spend my birthdays in solitude, mostly because of the autumn equinox, which is tomorrow at 1:19. It's I don't know, something about this time of year. I use it for a time of reflection, and winter's kind of a tough time for me. So it's kind of like a preparation for
seasonal depression.
Oh yeah. I take plenty of vitamin D. I don't have a red light, but actually, when I was working as a dental tech in a cool dental lab, I had a red light at my bench. But yeah, I wouldn't even call it seasonal depression. I love the sun.
I have low-lying depression. Been offered medication throughout my life. I've never taken it. I am not opposed to taking it. I'll never get on a soapbox and say no one should ever do what you need to do to feel better, to get yourself through some dark times. But I'm blessed that I have tools to help me get through. I have my breath work, I have my yoga, I have my meditation, I have my practice of Course Miracles, I have kindness and gratitude as a practice. All of it has helped me. I have early morning walks, being in nature. I have you, everyone else. It's very valuable for me. This conversation with me, I'll be buzzing on it for the rest of the day.
Nice.
By the way, Miss Bipper says, I personally am happier because Adam is orbiting.
Well, thank you. I'm glad I'm orbiting with you.
Miss Bipper says, me too. She says, I like St. John's work. Very good as well.
Mm-hmm. 2 hands of cashews score better than Prozac in a blind study.
Do they?
Yes.
I do not eat cashews, not for any particular reason, but I have almonds with my lentils, rice, potatoes, with 1 Brazil nut, because Brazil nuts is so powerful. You really only need 1 a day. Some say 1 or 2 a week is enough to get all the selenium that you need. and I have walnuts for the
Hmm.
brain health. Walnuts are very good for brain health. So I don't have room for. It's going to sound weird to say. I don't have room for other nuts than the ones that I have.
Okay.
But I think
Well,
I'm actually going to throw in.
cashews are a legume, so
Right. I think I'll throw them in my diet. Thanks for that recommendation.
you're welcome. You touched on a depression. I love talking about depression because I had to commit myself to a psych ward because of antidepressants long ago. First of all, depression today is treated like an illness. When, should you run away from depression? If I just lost a loved one and somebody came to me and said, "Don't be so bummed out, man. I really need to work through this. I need to embrace it. I need to learn from it."
Right.
Is it an illness? No, it's a symptom of something. Um, the PDF, I think it's a PDF, back in 1970 was like 3 pages. And very few people were treated for depression. We're talking serious depressed people who wouldn't get out of bed, who wouldn't. But if you look at the PDF in modern times, everyone falls under depression. I mean, and it reads kind of like sleeping too much, sleeping too little, eating too much, eating too little. I mean, let's build a net to catch everybody so we can medicate them.
Right.
And let's medicate them with medicine that's not really that thoroughly tested because, the FDA is comprised of, I don't mean to get political, Yogi, but the FDA is comprised of people from places like Monsanto, Pfizer, Lilly. You got drug and food people coming in, and sitting for a while in the FDA to pass their stuff, and then right back to the massive corporation. And I'm going to get off the political thing. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I understand that
But
completely.
it's very dangerous. Did I tell you about my brother hallucinating from a pain pill?
Huh.
Okay, my brother calls up and he says he's hallucinating. Vivid hallucinations. People are walking through his room and stuff. I'm not going to mention the drug name, but it's a drug that you can't get. They prescribe this stuff because your average DP can't prescribe, painkillers, the real one. So they make up this other stuff. Well, this painkiller is very similar to a psychotropic type medication. It's a SRI inhibitor. But anyway, nobody told him to take this medicine consistently. So he would take it one day and then skip a whole day. Well, he's suffering from withdrawal symptoms. And some of the withdrawal symptoms are hallucination. And by the way, very few psychiatrists, very few people study the effects of withdrawal from these medications. There's a brilliant psychiatrist in London who really speaks out about the dangers of this stuff and how to get off of it. He talks about the half step. You take half a pill for a few days, and then you half that and half that. And he talks about this is kind of a dangerous thing because your first step's pretty big, but then your second step's twice that size, and then your third step is 4 times the amount of the first step. It's tricky. It's really tricky. I find man's arrogance with nature horrendous. I really do. The Western thought is man versus nature. And Eastern thought, and my Cherokee brothers are man with nature. Man is nature. There's no separation. Nature's not here to kill me. Nature's not here for me to manipulate or to profit from. So, sorry, I might come at that a little too passionately. I apologize.
That's okay. I enjoyed hearing it. Manute says, any of you know what the cause of depression? And I would think it would be many and varied, from natural chemical imbalance to epigenetic, possibly. Um, I mean, Course of Miracles would say, basically, it's the causes, the belief in separation. How could you not be depressed? Looking around a world that the ego has created. And you might have moments of happiness, but in order for you to have a moment of happiness, you need to purposely suspend thinking about children starving, uh, vicious diseases. You can't think about where our food comes from. You can't think about the political divide. You can't think about war across the world. All we can focus on to be happy in this day and age, we have to focus on this little tiny slice of things are good right now because I've got everything I want, which isn't really happy, which isn't really happiness according to Buddha, because it can change. It's conditional. But the Course says, and the Buddha says, and Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the key to happiness is not basing it upon things that change. To keep looking for the eternal. And the Course said you won't find the eternal in this world, but you can find the eternal by placing your thoughts upon that which is eternal, placing your thoughts upon God, always choosing the Holy Spirit. You're still in the world. The world still has suffering, but we begin to have, the world is still a dream, illusory. We begin to have a happier dream. Which,
That's right, Yogi.
that ain't bad.
Well,
happier dream ain't bad.
Well, I would like to say that depression isn't so bad, man. First of all, I mean, there's a lesson there. There's a lesson everywhere.
Right.
I would also like to say that maybe if psychiatry or psychology treated resentment like depression, what a world we would live in. Because if we were fighting resentment instead of perhaps the effects of resentment, it'd be a much happier world. I mean, wow, what if they came up with a pill that would eliminate resentment?
Yoga and Course of Miracles and Buddhism will say we have. It's an invisible pill, and it's changing your thought system. I can think with the ego. I can think with the Holy Spirit. When you're thinking with the Holy Spirit, I'm the same with you. I don't mind the depression itself is still present. I can no longer rightly say that I suffer from depression. I can say depression happens. And I sort of feel this almost a curiosity of, here it is again, showing up, affecting my body in certain ways, affecting my moods in certain ways, and yet consistently I'm able to stay with the thoughts of kindness, with the thoughts of forgiveness. I can forgive myself for experiencing what I'm experiencing without qualifications. I don't have to add suffering into the mix. So suffering and depression are two separate things. It's sort of going back to White Tantra. It's sort of like orgasm and ejaculation, that they happen so quickly that we think it's the same thing. But when you've been practicing Tantra or any form of sacred sexuality, you can have multiple orgasms without ever ejaculating. So it's the same with depression. You can have depression, but it doesn't have to equate to suffering.
True. And another thing about depression is, what are the fruits of depression? Procrastination, the inability to smile. I mean, Yogi, you're a machine, man. You get up every day, you do your workouts, you show up to the World Wide Web and bring love. That's not really a fruit of depression.
Right.
Isolation is a fruit of depression. And we can fight these tendencies we can use depression as an excuse to behave in certain ways, or we can just go, okay, my heart's not in this today. I'm feeling kind of down, but I'm going to keep moving anyway.
What if depression was a call to love ourselves deeper? To be
I think
kinder
it
to
is.
ourselves? If
I think
Adam,
it is.
if I showed up at your doorstep, well, you might chase me away. It's like, did I invite Yogi over today? I don't remember doing it. If I showed up at your doorstep and I said, Adam, I'm depressed, what would you do?
I don't have a lot of toys around. We might go out and shoot the 22 at targets. That's fun. I might tickle
But
you.
You would.
I don't know.
You would. I actually know what you would do. You might do all what you said, but first and foremost, you would be kind to me. You'd put your arm around me and say, "It's okay, I got you.
Yeah,
I'm going to help you."
I would also ask, is there anything bothering you?
Right. Or you would
A lot
say,
of
how
times,
about if I just sit with you for a while?
yeah,
You would have all these natural kindness tools at your disposal, because as I mentioned at the beginning, you're a naturally kind person. But we refuse to do that for ourselves. We don't show up for ourselves. We suffer from our depression because we are saying, I don't want to feel what I'm feeling. I want it to go away. I want to be normal. That why does this happen to me? Why am I suffering so much? Instead of saying, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. I got myself. I love myself.
Yeah.
I might not feel that I love myself right now, but I can practice loving myself. I can practice befriending myself. The last thing we ever do is befriend ourselves. Sometimes it takes forever just to give ourselves a friendly word. It's going to be okay.
Very good advice, Yogi. There's a Rosicrucian practice where at the end of the day, you rewind through the whole day. You live your day backwards. Every thought, every interaction. Of course, I'm not disciplined enough to do this, but with this practice, you very much become mindful of every thought, supposedly. A lot of times when people are experiencing depression, they're mentally beating themselves up. They're calling themselves names. They're reinventing scenarios in their mind. If we could separate our mind out of depression, it would be a different thing.
Agreed.
It really
Agreed.
would. So I guess the question is the mind trying to make something better out of this, or is it running with it and is it fueling the depression? Our thoughts.
We have a question from Tiger King. He wants to know how long it took you to grow your beard.
Wow, I haven't cut a single hair on my head in roughly 3 years. 3 years ago, I looked very businesslike. Cut hair, nice clothes.
Yeah, you should bring a photo up sometime. I want to see a before and after. Mercy 66. Who had said treat depression with meditation and not medicine, and I agree largely with that. Meditation is a unused tool in professional emotional health. It's catching on a bit. It should be the first prescription.
Speaking of scientific studies, they did a scientific study with a 30-minute meditation every day for 1 month. And the brain scan, I forget which side. A depressed person, their frontal lobe really lights up a lot on this side, say. And then after 30 days, over 90% of these people, they felt better, but not only that, their EEG showed that the other side of their frontal lobe was lighting up, which is, amazing.
Right.
So scored way better than cashews.
I'm still going to add cashews in my diet. My next order.
Nice.
Simon has said his frontal lobe is finished.
meditation.
Meditation is a game changer.
I missed what Sniper said.
Let's see. Well, Simon said his frontal lobe is finished. To be fair,
His frontal lobe is finished.
Is finished. What do you mean, Simon?
I don't know. I know that, what was it? I think in the 60s they were still doing lobotomies.
Yeah.
Wow. So just a thought, if you're taking antidepressants, that here's a problem. Look, they're not miserable anymore, but they're drooling all over themselves.
One of the Kennedy kids.
Yes.
I don't know if she's still alive or not, but she was given a lobotomy. Crazy.
A good question is, was she alive after the lobotomy? I mean, she was, I believe rocks are alive. Oh, the last time I was up, I said they found a new form of life, and I was duped. I saw something on the web that indicated this, and then I immediately found a supporting article. And then I went back and tried to find, serious studies. I couldn't find anything. I was duped. But I want there to be proof that, life can exist outside of carbon. But, I already know that. I mean, crystals are a good example of a self-replicating molecule.
Interesting.
And there are other examples of self-replicating molecules. There are things that behave like they're alive that we call them because they don't meet our criteria.
Right.
So.
Funny. Criteria. I think we should largely throw criteria out the window. That something has to match some thought system that we have in place, and if it doesn't, then we devalue it.
True. It's thundering.
I can hear something. Simon says, ask him, how do you cope with Walmart panic attacks?
I don't go to Walmart.
I knew as soon as I said, I knew that was your answer. Avoid Walmart.
Avoid Walmart. No, but seriously, if you have a panic attack in Walmart, I think Yogi would be the better person to ask. But whenever I feel panic come over me, I take a deep breath in, hold it, and I exhale. I also try to feel my feet on the ground.
I couldn't have answered that better. There's all kinds of grounding techniques. We can do the panic breath, which is the physiological sigh. It mimics the breath. We're mimicking the panic attack. The way when you're having a panic attack, you're breathing. You know what I mean? Very short.
Yes.
So start with mimicking that. You can do 4 breaths in, and then a long sigh. You might not be able to get that long sigh at first because you're panicking. So you might only be. It's okay. do it again, and then lengthen it. Do it again, and then lengthen it. Do it again, and lengthen it. That act of mimicking the panic under a controlled fashion, and then slowing it down and slowing down that exhalation, which puts you in that parasympathetic state, energy state. And then you start feeling the ground beneath you. Then you start recognizing your thoughts, recognizing how am I holding myself. If my breathing pattern, I'm usually my shoulders are high and I'm tense. I'm breathing in my chest, breathing in my mouth. You just introduce these little micro changes, not drastic. Doesn't never helps anyone having a panic attack to grab their shoulders and say breathe.
No.
If I could do that, I wouldn't be having the panic attack. It's the same when we do it ourselves. You don't want to attempt. I'm having a panic attack. I need to do something now. Just notice, just be aware. I'm having a panic attack. Make these little micro changes. As you said, feel the ground beneath your feet. You could shake your arms out a little bit. You want to get that energy moving, and then you want to make these little changes. So first you got to notice, then address it, and then make these little changes in the breath, in the posture. Lower your shoulders, unclench your fist, relax your belly, declench your jaw, let your eyes relax. But you can only do that when you first meet it, with that panic breath, and then you make those changes. And then you guide yourself. I love that term guide. Just guide yourself gently out of it. Row your boat.
I think that breathing technique is brilliant because it does mimic when you panic, you can't breathe deeply, very
Right.
shallow.
Yep.
And I could see that really. I will say I don't panic much because I told the story of the death car ride I had. I felt it, and I noticed my breathing, and then I just breathed and calmed down. But typically, I experience life outside of myself. Mostly, when I'm around people, around situations, it's all outward. So I would be a good performer because my body is just, I don't come back in. When somebody's panicking, it's an inside thing. All of a sudden, they notice their body and they don't like it. It's a tense. Oh my God! It's a squeeze of the body, and then you're panicking also because you're panicking. You're panicking for the panic. Oh,
Exactly.
and so I don't really experience that much.
I have. And it triggered so much. Anxiety, panic attacks, insomnia, and then to top it off, imposter syndrome, because I had spent a large amount of time helping people through breath work and yoga, meditation, how to deal with panic attacks, how to deal with anxiety, how to get better sleep. And all of a sudden, I'm suffering from it. And I thought, what kind of teacher? Who's going to want to learn anything from me? I'm suffering from all the stuff. I'm trying to help people. I'm a fake yogi, which just caused more anxiety, which fed into the imposter syndrome, which fed into the anxiety. It's a vicious cycle. And when our friend mostly said, figure out your triggers for the panic attack, that doesn't always work because you don't know what's going to trigger. I would lie down and go to bed, and all of a sudden, like feeling good, feeling okay, I would read a little bit. I was tired, sleepy, and I would lay back down, and it was like a live wire up my spine was lit somewhere. Someone pulled a switch, and it was like an electric current went up. Couldn't catch my breath. My body got overheated. It was horrible.
What an odd time, but yeah.
And this began happening right before the COVID shutdown, right before COVID. But my father was already starting to decline from congestive heart failure. I didn't want to wake him. The type of person my father was, even though at this time he was still using a cane. A few months later, he's using a walker. A few months after that, he was in a wheelchair. But even with a cane, even with a walker, if he heard me like pacing down the stairs, he would find a way to get out of bed. Say, "Are you okay?
Oh,
What
wow.
can I do? Do you need anything?" That was my
He would
father. So
He would just know you were intuitively.
yep. So I would do my best to keep completely quiet. To, I don't want to broadcast the thoughts that I was having. And which increased my anxiety, and that
That's
just made the anxiety right, and it made it even worse. And that, man, 4 years, pretty much complete hell, and I still feel a little. I can feel it sometimes at night, creeping in. One breath that has helped me. It's become an invaluable tool. And I've done it for decades, but I never did it consciously. I use it in my yogic practice. Was the ocean's breath, where we make the sound of the ocean as we breathe in and as we breathe out, where a slight constriction of the throat, because it tones the vagal nerve and it's soothing, produces a very soothing sound. And when I feel that little bit of panic, and years ago when I would feel that greater panic, I started turning to that breath more and more. And it literally guided, it was like a string or a rope that was dropped down in the midst of the panic. And I would, almost like a voice would say, just grab it. Just grab that rope.
Could you just give an example of, just show me?
Sure. This is called, in Sanskrit, it's called Ujjayi breathing.
Okay.
And Ujjayi means victorious breath, but it's more commonly called ocean's breath. And how I'd like to teach it is, pretend this is a mirror. You ever fog up a mirror with your breath?
Oh, yeah.
So put the mirror up, take a breath in through your nose, and fog up the mirror. You want to hear that
through the mouth.
That's how we're going to start. Yep. Now, take a breath in, fog up that mirror. The same thing with your mouth closed.
Makes a little sound.
Yep. Now, do the same thing as you breathe in through the nose. It takes a little bit of practice. Make that same sound as if you're demonstrating how to snore, as if you have a mini Darth Vader in your throat.
Nice.
You hear that sound?
I'm not hearing a sound, but I'm getting closer. I can feel a rumble.
Right. Just keep practicing. You did 3 or 4 times, and you got it. So it's as if you are sleeping next to someone who's a very gentle snorer. So we just do that. We just do that. And then as you start getting a presence of mind, that I'm starting to get calmer, elongate the exhale. Don't worry about counting. Just elongate the exhale as you're doing that snoring sound. That's it. That was my lifesaver.
One other thing. Go ahead.
I knew all of this breath from yoga for decades. But yoga yoga in this country, and probably across the world now, they might teach breath work. They don't teach us how and when to use breath for specific instances. Traditional yoga does. That you do this breathing to get this result. You do this breathing to get another result. In American yoga, it's just breathe.
Oh God.
Let's do the breath of fire. And people are doing the breath of fire before they go to bed, not knowing that it's a sympathetic breath pattern that will keep you up. It'll energize you. So I was doing Wim Hof like through the day, and it was just causing more anxiety. And yet, and yet you're told to do breath work to fix anxiety. And it will, but it's got to be the right breath for the right occasion.
I've told people often that because they say I'm starting yoga, and I'm like, is it centered on breathing? And they look at me all confused. And I'm like, it's not yoga if there's no breath involved. It's just not. In
Right.
fact, it can be very damaging. The same with
Um,
qigong and tai chi. I mean,
right.
qigong is, you breathe in with your hands this way, you breathe out with your hands this way. The breath is always any of that. Breath is very important. With
Um, we can take it farther back. If you're not practicing the ethical foundations that's presented in the beginning of yoga, you're just stretching. You're not really practicing yoga. If you're
yeah,
not meditating, or if you're not, let's say if you're practicing bhakti, devotional yoga, if you're not placing your focus on God, you're not practicing yoga. Yoga, it means yoke, to join together.
Jesus said, "My yoke is easy." However, I almost think that was kind of sarcasm because his yoga is service to self and service to others.
Right, right. And I wonder about that connection.
Self and others?
Well, I was wondering about the connection of my yoke is easy and yoga. If he knew, some say Jesus spent some of those missing years in India, possibly Nepal, which was actually India at the time, possibly Tibet. He certainly, in the Middle East, he certainly had heard of it. Some say he went to Egypt and he learned some of the esoteric practices. We talked to Miss Flipper a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about there's really no need because Kabbalah has all the essence, all the esoteric tradition that you need. He didn't have to travel outside of Israel to get that knowledge.
Well, I mean, being the Christ, I guess he didn't have to travel anywhere.
It's true.
So I think they called him Isu in India. I think his name was Isu. And yes, there's very good evidence that he was in China as well. So.
Let's see. In the chat, talking about Jethro Tull, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I love Jethro Tull. Ian Anderson is such an engaging performer, one of the all-time best. And it's easy to make the case that he's the single best rock and roll flautist ever.
It is easy to make that argument. There are some great rock and roll flautists.
Right. I don't know any other rock and roll flautists out there.
Well, Rare Earth.
No. Okay.
The James Gang. The James Gang has a flautist. Not that I'm a James
Canned Heat.
fan. Canned Heat has. Yeah. I mean,
it's a good song.
Shows up in the Moody Blues. I mean, I don't think they had Jethro Tull is the only frontman who was a flautist that I know of.
There you go. Man, you named some great bands. I love the Moody Blues.
Yeah. Talking about our thoughts and stuff. Our consumption of media is very important. When I was a kid, I loved to watch Clockwork Orange. A brilliant movie. I don't think I could actually watch a Clockwork Orange now. I don't think I can.
Huh.
I don't want to. If you like horror movies and violent movies and all that, hey, that's great. But, I used to listen to music I can't tolerate anymore.
Me too.
Do I put on AC/DC? No, I'm fine if somebody's on a highway to hell. That's not my highway, man.
You got tired of those 3 chords over and over again?
Yes.
Although, John Prine said he only learned 3 chords. He only learned 3 chords his entire life, and he made an entire career out of it. I'm a huge John Prine fan.
Simplicity is sometimes amazing. Any high school garage band can play the chords, but can they play it that well?
Right.
So,
Um,
by the way, Yogi, you said something in passing I didn't comment on. But yes, I think London Calling is the greatest punk album of all time.
you heard it here first, guys. It's been confirmed. I put it out there. It was confirmed by Adam. Now we know for sure. We don't have to take a vote on it. London Calling. You know,
And
in my top 10 greatest albums, let alone punk, the greatest punk ever. I might put it in my top 10. But my top 10 has expanded now to include a whole lot of jazz. Blue and Green, Miles Davis, Love Supreme, John Coltrane, Songs of My Father, Horace Silver. So I'll put London Calling in my top 20 of all times for sure, regardless of genre.
very prophetic stuff, man. Rock the Casbah is as appropriate today as it was then.
Right.
Even more so, really. Even more so, really. But, London Calling, I have no fear because I live by the river. Although I live by a lake. But I still have fear.
Hey, what's the name of the lake you live near?
Tim's Ford. Tim's Ford. It's a massive lake.
Is it?
Beautiful.
I want to look that up. I like lake information. I love lakes.
This is a huge lake. It is a
Man-made?
Yes. Yeah. No, the Southern government thing. I can't even think of it now. Although you can actually have stock in it, which blew my mind. I can't think of the initials. But whatever project. But yeah. In fact, where I'm looking right now at the lake, mine's father owned that land, and it was his most fertile. Very upset about them appropriating his land and turning it into a lake.
Huh. I'm gonna look that up. Hey,
Beautiful lake.
I know you're not a huge jazz fan.
Oh, I am.
Are you?
Yes. I just don't have a memory.
If you listen to Horace Silver's Songs for My Father, and the next time we talk or the next time you pop into the chat, let me know where you recognize that opening from.
Horace Silver?
Horace Silver.
Silver.
Yep. Songs for My Father.
Songs from My Father's.
I wish I could play it for right now, but I'd definitely get a copyright strike.
The funny thing is, you probably heard it before, and I just can't place it.
Right, and you'll know as soon as you hear the opening for the intro, you'll be like, you'll know exactly.
From jazz thrown into rock and roll a lot.
Yeah, and you'll recognize it, and you'll be. I don't think you'll be surprised because you'll recognize the band instantly, and you'll know that they are so heavily jazz influenced. I'll give you a hint right off the bat. Formed in 1970s, heavily jazz influenced.
Steely Dan? That's my first guess.
Steely Dan,
right?
basically. Yep. Steely Dan not only got the riff for it, they got the riffer, Horace Silver, to actually play it at the beginning.
Steely Dan, wonderful.
Yeah, one of my favorites. It took me a while to get to Steely Dan. I didn't like him when I was a kid. It was, and I'll tell you why. I wanted the 3 chords of AC/DC. I wanted something easy to listen to. I didn't want to be challenged. And Steely Dan's sophisticated music.
Very. Very.
But I was very fortunate at a relatively young age. My music taste became more and more sophisticated. You know, I started listening to Steely Dan. I started listening to uh, Moody Blues, uh, things that you might not really appreciate when you're, you know, 11 or 12. You know, I was a member of Kiss Army. I had the Kiss belt buckle. You know, exactly. Um, you know, I want to rock and roll all night and party every day. Um, uh, I was a big
This was
fan of.
I mean, Knights in Satan's Service, whatever. But I mean, a lot of times their songs were positive.
Yeah. But again, not very sophisticated, and not that all music has to be. I love Elvis, and Elvis was, you know, early Elvis.
No.
Um,
Some bands try to be over sophisticated.
Right.
I don't really like Rush.
I'm not a Rush fan either.
You know, people think
I-
he's okay. You know, Neil Peart is not the world's best drummer. It's Neil Peart, isn't it? The drummer?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Neil Peart.
He over drums.
I can appreciate the talent of Rush, but it doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't appeal to me. They don't
It's
appeal
over
to me.
to me. It's taking
Right.
complication too far. And it's
You know-
not really complicated. It's I don't mean to be a critic. I don't want to be a critic.
Right.
On a positive note, Supertramp's drummer. I forget his
passed away.
what?
He just passed away, right?
I don't know.
I
In my
I saw
here.
right. I saw online that someone from Supertramp passed away.
That's sad.
You know what instrument I've really come to? Well, before I go into this, and then I actually got to end the live stream. Some of the best drumming ever, and it surprises a lot of people when I say this because they don't think of him as being a great drummer. Ringo Starr, Rain.
Oh yeah.
And even Ringo Starr said, I don't know, I was there. And I remember, but I don't know how I played that like that. He was like, that's not me. You know, I was doing it, but whatever. Something else came through me. Because that's not me. What a great. I've come to appreciate those who don't overdrum. Those who can keep that steady beat. And that led me to start appreciating the bass. Growing up, I never gave two thoughts to the bass. But now I'll listen to the Beatles just to hear Paul McCartney play the bass.
Do you have a good sound system?
What's that?
Do you have a good sound system?
No.
That's when you really start to appreciate the bass is with a good sound system.
I'll keep that in mind. I used to.
Funny thing about 60s music is that, you know, Moody Blues wasn't that popular on radio because you need a good sound system to listen to the Moody Blues.
Right.
You can't get some AM blaring out of a dash of a crappy vehicle. You know, Jimi Hendrix sounds great on radio. You know, I love Jimi Hendrix. I'm just saying that old Rolling Stones songs, if you study the history of rock and roll, I find some songs were written for crappy AM radios, and you know, Pink Floyd doesn't sound good on a crappy radio.
Pink Floyd, I'm firmly convinced, sound best with headphones and a certain amount of plant medicine. Pink Floyd Animals, headphones and a certain amount of plant medicine, and you're good to go. Led Zeppelin 2, headphones. Getting that.
Do you know the story of Andrews? You know what Andrews was written about?
No. Sid?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. The steel workers union, all that, you know, people dying. You know, here's the thing about meditation. Carnegie was called before a committee a government committee because they thought he was cheating or something. Something had to be wrong. Nobody can imagine this quickly. And they asked him how he did it. And he said, I can hold one thought for 3 minutes. And they said, that's not so hard. And he said, really? Try it. And, that's what Carnegie said. That's how he did it.
Man, our next conversation, we need to talk about bass.
The bass?
Well, bass players. We'll talk about bass players.
Oh, wow.
Just-
Yeah. I'll have to do some homework.
Miss
So
Pipper
bad with
says,
names.
right. Miss Pipper says, Tom Waits said, paraphrasing, his favorite music was playing on the street boombox 30 ahead.
Okay.
I like Tom Waits.
Good actor too.
Yeah, he is. He is. He might be the coolest person alive. Next to you. Next to you. He might be the coolest person alive.
I'm behind you, Yogi, and I'm definitely behind David coming up tomorrow. Wow. I would like to reiterate that, you have people coming up singing. I'll get up and sing because I really do want to encourage people to feel okay in themselves. God loves me. God loves you. And what else matters, man? I mean, if God loves me, then, I'm fine.
What else do you need?
What else do you need?
I
mean,
yep.
Do I need likes on my videos? No. Do I need people telling me I'm a great person? It's nice. Compliments are always nice, but no, I don't need that. With that said, if people are telling me you're crazy, maybe I should ponder it for a minute. My best friend told me I was becoming nuts, and he convinced me, and I committed myself.
Right.
And
was that?
I won't mention a medicine, but there's a very dangerous antidepressant out there that has a half-life of 18 hours.
Right.
So if you withdraw, you're suffering before you take your next dose. And if you happen to be going to a psychiatrist who's more driven by making profit and studying the effects of these pills, you might find yourself in a dangerous position. You might need to commit yourself. So, and some people might think I'm crazy now, especially whatever,
Hey, what did John Lennon say on his last album before he was killed? People say I'm crazy, dreaming my life away. He's just.
I'm just. What is it? Watching shadows on the wall.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's see. Simon says heavy static and kangaroo. So I think the quality. Is the wind blowing a little bit, or
am I giving a lot of heavy static?
A little bit. It's getting. That's okay. It's only started happening towards the end.
Is this better?
That's better.
Okay.
Still a little bit of sound, but I got to wrap things up. I'll be back in about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So come on by and hang out.
Well, it's always a pleasure, Yogi. I really do appreciate everything you do.
Thanks for spending your birthday with us.
Oh, more than welcome. Thank you for spending my birthday with me.
It means a lot. So guys, we're gonna say goodbye right here. Goodbye. I'll see everyone in about 2.5 hours. If you want to come by, we'll do some breath work. We'll hang out. It's still the weekend. Maybe we'll sing a song. And we'll definitely sing, if you pop up, we'll definitely sing happy birthday for you.
Thanks. Hey, Yogi, can you send a link or something? I can't remember. Or tell me again, and I'll write it down. the jazz album I need to check out.
Oh, yep.
Songs of My Father.
Songs for My Father. Horace Silver.
Horace Silver. I'm gonna go write
Yeah.
that down now. Horace Silver
Um,
song.
And if I think about it,
I'll write it down.
if I think about it, I'll send it to you. Actually, let me just do that. I'll pull up the song and I'll send it to you.
Well, I will say that one of my favorite things in my old age is watching my son's jazz band at MTSU. And if you look up MTSU Murfreesboro, Tennessee, they have free live streams of concerts, jazz, orchestra, duets, whatever. But it is a nationally recognized school of jazz.
Hey,
so good stuff.
When they do play sometime and there's a stream, send me the link.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna take off. Adam, thank you again.
Thank you.
See y'all later.
Bye.